Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. I said good morning. Good morning. I said good morning to you. A doo bitty doo. Hi. Welcome to Love Morning. This is the daily gathering, daily practice. Woo! It's not starting with a lot of momentum today, but maybe I start a new song. Happy day to you. Now, we'll just keep going. Good morning. Hello, Gerbot. Good to see you. Welcome. If you are here, say hello. Leave a little comment so that we know that we are sharing this experience. I'm in San Diego, California. I am deep in Burning Man preparations, getting the Hugmobile all packed up. I am so grateful that Lisa is here with me now. So we are getting all of our gear figured out and having there's feeling the excitement of getting to share Burning Man with someone I love, which will be a beautiful experience. Really trying to anticipate some of the new experiences that I'm going to be having this year. Good morning, Jessica in Northern Alberta. Hello. And good morning, Razorblade in Australia. And hello, I'm not sure if I remember where Gerbot's from. And hello, Steven. Steve, sorry. Hey, Steve in San Diego. Good morning. Whew. I got a confession to make. And I know that I'm pretty vulnerable here. I'm pretty transparent. I think I share things that are not always, my best foot forward, and I risk possible judgment. I have lots of videos of me crying, sharing things about body functions, but there's something today that I need to share that could really crumble any sort of respect that I have built up and earned. And that is that I just got these rainbow Crocs in the mail. And I'm going to keep them. I'm going to wear them. Yeah. I have never been a fan of the aesthetic of Crocs, but I did have a pair of knockoff Crocs years ago that I used to wear at Burning Man at the end of the day, when my feet hurt from my boots. And they really were great. They were so comfortable. And I was I see pictures of myself in them, and I was like, oh man, because they just did not make any outfit look good. However, they were so comfy on my feet after a full day of wearing boots and just so much walking and biking. So I decided, maybe I'll look into some Crocs. And these ones actually have no air holes, so they won't get filled with playa dust if I wear them around camp. So, all right, that's it. Take your shots. I've earned it. I am going to be wearing not just Crocs, but tie-dyed rainbow Crocs. I have jumped the ship or the shark or something. Good morning, Yamil. Good morning, Hippolito. Good morning, Neck. Ugo Bug. Alturas, I don't even know where that is. But you're anxiously waiting for Gate to open. That's right. Gate opens today at noon for the people that have been waiting. My understanding is that they are, whatever time you're going to get an email this morning on when your gate time is. So they're trying to make it so the gate is just not a total disaster as everybody shows up at noon today. So you should get my understanding is you should get an email saying, here's the window. You can show it up any time after this time, but let's say you had a last Friday WAP, you'll probably be noon today. And if you had a Thursday or a Wednesday app, it'll be later in the afternoon. Assuming that they don't change the plan and say, you know what, it's still too wet. Crazy! So, what an exciting year. I wonder what it's going to do just for shifting the whole week back. I saw a message that said, hey, if you get there and you're looking around and the city has a lot to be done, walk around and ask if your neighbors could use some help. Neck is grateful to be leaving for Burning Man in just a short 42 hours. Yamil says, Crocs are the most comfortable thing I don't own, but I wish I did. Good morning, Janet. You know, there was a time when I prioritized my appearance over anything at Burning Man. Not anything, but like I wore platform boots all the time. And I almost always came back from the burn with a black and blue toenails that would then eventually fall off around Christmas time. Made up a whole like Christmas story about the Christmas toenail. But now I'm a little more concerned about comfort. Although to be fair, in my early days, I would take like running shoes or sneakers that were really comfortable, and I would glue fur on them so I could be comfortable and look funky. They still didn't look cool. They just looked fun and funky. Panos, missing you. Love you. Hippolyta saying my giant pink bracelets. Yes, what do I call them? The Hugulets. If you saw the picture that I posted, I think yesterday of Tassie and I, we were both wearing Hugulets. These like donuts of foam donuts with fur that then they looked cool, but also you could hug someone and go and give them a little back massage. Carl saying that platforms actually might be useful this year. Well, if it's wet and you didn't pack platform boots, your boots will have a platform before long. I saw some videos of people yesterday chipping the mud off their shoes, which, yep, I remember doing that. A lot more difficult than you would think. Someone said that some skills that are useful this year, unexpected skills, are what they say, butter sculpting, because they're like trying to like get all the mud off their shoes. Good morning, Pierre. Hello to you in Amsterdam. Oh, sweet. We've got a nice international crew here today. As I said, I'm in San Diego, California. Gerbot is grateful for a few more days to pack. Sorry, I think I missed that. Oh, if you are grateful for something, let us know. As I said, I am grateful for time with my beloved and the fluid support we are given with each other in terms of packing and preparing. Maybe that was the wrong word choice. When I say fluid support, that was not a sexual thing. I just mean that we are easily progressing in our packing and planning. Pierre says, I'm grateful for investing in myself by registering for some courses and tests to get some certifications for a new job. Bravo! Man, as if you weren't already desirable enough, Pierre. Impressive. I am grateful for my Pink Heart campmates that have been doing a ton of work in preparation. Like there's a crew that just went to our Reno storage. I think I saw Cookie and Kathy and Carpo, I'm not sure, and several other people that went to our storage and like sorted things of like, this is to be thrown out, this is to be brought to the burn, this is to be repaired. Those are the kind of tasks that really are not glamorous, but are so helpful. So you can just keep, acquiring more storage, more crap that takes more time to sort through every year. And not only, there's so many campmates that have been building and preparing things in Northern California with Joshua and Supernova, and so many people. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow this morning. Dan says, I'm grateful my gifts have arrived just in time. I'll be bringing British gifts for my camp and for beautiful burners. Awesome, Dan. So Dan, you're in Britain. So we've had Britain, Amsterdam, Canada, Australia. Did I miss anything else? No, now I'm blanking. We've got a nice crew. And, of course, all around the United States. And if you've got something that you're grateful for, we'd love to hear it. Dan, you want to just explain what your British gifts are? The gifts I am bringing this year, I've got some stickers. I've got a lot of different stickers. I have some P-Jug sanitation, Halcyon's P-Jug solution. And got some like more like the ones that are little like secretive things, little that I can maybe talk about afterwards. But if I mentioned it and then you got one, it would ruin the fun of it. But my biggest gift this year is my presence. And yeah, I'm actually less focused on gifting this year and more focusing on participating this year and trying to experience art and go see the city and people and art with my beloved Lisa, also known as Hot Boots. I think that's her play name. She melted her boots at a fire at a burn years ago. So we'll have just a few more minutes of sharing gratitude if people want. Oh, I've one thing I was going to touch on is I've seen a number of people. There's the ticket situation as the burn approach has been very strange. Lots of people trying to sell tickets at the end here, which is more than usual. And there's been some interesting dynamics and frustrations and things that have come out each year. And this year they did some different things, and I think that it didn't that and combined with a bunch of last year's difficult burn and the economy has made it so that a lot of people can't go last minute. And so there's all these tickets available, but as you probably know, it's difficult to say, oh, Burning Man is in 2 weeks, I'll go. Like you can't even, if you got a ticket 2 weeks ago, you couldn't even join Pink Heart. It's too late. Our camp plan is done. We've got acculturation activities and workshops and all the things that's already happened. You can't just jump in at the last minute. So it's tough to just be ready to go at the end. And so there's a lot of people who now felt like, oh, I can't go. I'll let my ticket go for face value, but people don't want it because there's so many tickets available, and people trying to sell their FOMO tickets, which are the ones that cost $1,500, and so often they are selling for below market, which would never happen a month ago, 2 months ago, but right before the event, it makes sense to me that people might say, hey, I'd go if I could get a ticket for $300, and then someone can decide if they're gonna sell it or not. Now, here's I'm leading up to this, some of the discussions that I've seen that I think that I'd like to chime in on, which is that if somebody posts like, hey, I've got $800 for 2 tickets, or I'm willing to buy a ticket for $300, and there are burners who are getting angry and saying, you're taking advantage of burners. You're supposed to buy tickets at face value. And this is not my understanding. My understanding is you never buy them for over face value. The point is to avoid a scalper's market. You don't want to reward and create a market for people hoarding tickets and then selling them at a profit, bringing commodification. And the point is to keep it. You pay. If you got to sell it, you give another burner the opportunity to go. That's it. You were lucky enough to get a ticket. Don't profit off that, because that's just that messes with the whole system. However, if you have a ticket and then you can't use it, and last minute you can't go, and there's somebody else who possibly could go but can't afford it, and they say, I could go for cheaper. You can decide. You can say, no, I'm going to wait and see if I'm going to spend the next 4 days interviewing people and meeting people in person and doing all this stuff to try to say, or you know what, I'm just going to unload this thing for $400 right now. If you can go, awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. That means someone who is financially strapped could go, and means you don't get caught holding a ticket that you held on to too long. Because there is some responsibility in hold on to a ticket long. If you knew you couldn't go, or you weren't willing to take the risk, and you said months ago, I'm going to give it back to Step, or I'm going to offer this ticket to if 2 months ago, if someone said I had a ticket available, I could have placed it easily. So you risk and you hold on, or your circumstances, like last minute, that puts it's your bad situation. If someone else says I could go for $200, or I'd take a free ticket, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think the people that are like, you should never sell a ticket for anything but face value, I'm like, I don't think that's true at all. Changed my mind. Hippolito says, despite all the rain, I'm sending you a cloud with a rainbow on it. One of your pink ambassadors will be gifting this to you. Oh, right on. Thank you. Luann, good morning. Luann says, grateful that my Temple Bell chain is heading up to the playa tomorrow. Ooh, cool. Dan says he's given Marmite for the camp and anyone who visits, and Union Jack Rock kind of candy, and a few more bits that are being delivered to my pal in San Francisco. Marmite, is that like a? I'm thinking of that Australian really foul Vegemite. That's what I was thinking. But Marmite isn't like that. Isn't it a horrible tasting thing? I think I'll hold on to a Jack Rock. Carl's saying that this ticket situation is great, that for people that are priced out normally, and they get to bring fresh energy this year. That's kind of how I feel. That yeah, and there's if you were able to go on it instantly, then you should be able to benefit. And that's kind of always the case. If you were willing to like wait until this weekend, you can almost always get a ticket, because people go, fuck, I can't go. And it's always been the case that if you wait too long, then you have to eat the cost of your ticket. So if you wait until, okay, the burn started, I know tons of people that wait till the burn starts. Not tons. I know people that have, and then they just kind of post on Facebook, like, looking for a ticket. And there are people who thought that it was too late and go, oh, you know what? You can have mine. Thank you, Dan. Yamil says, I've been invited to camp with 4 camps with friends. Our stuff is already in Reno, so all I'll have to do is get on a plane and rent a car, but even that is expensive for me at the moment. Wish I lived closer. I mean, I have friends in that boat too, where they're like, I just got offered a ticket, RV, basically I can just go. But they're like, but that's going to be $2,500. It made me think a lot about, like, when people used to ask me, what does it cost to go to Burning Man? I used to say $1,000. And that was with, I had definitely had friends that would budget $600, including ticket. Maybe $500, including ticket. That's food, water, everything. And now I don't know how you could do it for, $1,000 would be difficult. And certainly not if you're doing an RV. Camp dues for most camps are more than that. Our camp dues at Pink Card, I think, are close to $500 this year because we didn't have our fundraiser. Normally they're like between $300 and $500. But in the early days of my camps, we didn't have. I don't think we even had dues. And then, and we just bring a tent and some Tasty Bites food, and buy $100 worth of groceries. Ticket was like $200, if that. Like I think $170 or $180 was when my first tickets cost. And then, you could easily, like $1,000. I would say that would be on. That was telling people I've spent a lot going to Burning Man. Like I spent $1,000, and now So I understand that feeling that like it no longer is accessible to people on a budget, which is potentially true. Good morning, Brent. I saw someone sent me a video this morning from Aubrey Marcus, who it was a message about how much he loves Burning Man, how he got married there, met his wife there, and he loves it, but he feels like he specced out some things that he thought were changes that he didn't like, and that's why he wasn't going this year. And then he also said, but it's awesome, and I hope that everyone has a good experience. So if you watch this week's Stay Sparked episode, it's about the power of celebration and one of the things that inspired the topic, I encourage you to listen to it, is that I get frustrated when people say Burning Man sucks. I'm like, is it not what you want it to be? Is it not as good as you remember it? Or does it suck? Because I don't know. I walk through the default world pretty much 350 something days a year. And if I compare the default world to Burning Man, guess which one I think sucks? Not fucking Burning Man. It's still fucking awesome. It's incredible. There's so much incredible things there. It doesn't suck. And so anytime you're saying, that sucks, like, you can say, here are the things that, it no longer serves me, or I'm no longer appreciating it. I'm not having the good experiences that I want. I'm going to choose to do something else with that resources. Great. It's not worth the energy. Totally. To me, it's just too much work for the amount of joy and the frustrations that I get there. Cool. But to say it sucks, and like we basically saying is like you're suck for thinking it's cool. Like, why would you do that? People say, oh, I love this movie. Oh, that movie sucks. I love this band. Oh, that band sucks. Like, shut the fuck up. Of course, I say it much more eloquently in the Stay Sparked episode this week. People that say it sucks, suck. So go to johnston.com for links to my podcasts and everything else, including the gratitude circles that happened today. Hello, Saucy Sibs podcast. Good morning. Speaking of podcasts, apparently there's another podcast that's here. By the way, if you have something that you do that you would like to share here, feel free. Drop a link of something. It's got to be something that you do. Not just, I know a guy doing a Kickstarter, but if you have a Kickstarter or you have a podcast, yeah, shoot us a link. We're all friends here. We're all fellow love ambassadors, which is the other reason for this podcast. One is not podcast, morning broadcast. One, share gratitude with one another. Remind each other of the things out there that are wonderful. As we listen to other people's gratitude, we expand our lens and see more and more and more of what's amazing. And we get to appreciate through other people's appreciation, even things that we don't appreciate, like Marmot. Not something that brings me joy, but if it brings Dan joy, cool. The world is full of joyful things, even if I don't appreciate them. And the second part of these morning broadcasts is to recalibrate, remind ourselves who we want to be today. So I encourage us to think about connection. As we are in front of people in the world, can we say hello and good morning and do eye contact and say hi? Let people know that we are like-minded and open-hearted. I encourage you to look for things to be grateful for. I encourage you to look for an opportunity to be kind. Can you spend an extra effort to open a door or send a text to somebody? Maybe as you're just practicing looking for opportunities to gift and be kind, you will find a big thing you can do that makes a dramatic impact in someone. But you will miss those opportunities if you're not just like in gifting mindset all the time. And then just focusing on being authentic. But you can add whatever you want to that list. This morning practices of trying to get in that headspace in the beginning of your day so that as you go through the day, you can actively choose to be that person when you have the opportunity. Good morning, Aldini. Aldini's first main burn. Been there for the Renegade? Right on. Well, thank you. I hope that you have a great burn. I am very excited. I am so excited about the weather. Last year was 20 degrees hotter at least, and it nearly killed me. All right. Saucy Sibs is doing the first burn. Sweet. Staying with Spritzerland. Well, I should say to people that I have never met or the people that I've met, I love meeting people on Playa. So if you see me out there, see a pink-haired gentleman bouncing around, I would love to say, hey, Halcyon, time for a hug? And I would love to share a hug. There's a teeny, tiny chance that I will be having an intense spiritual moment with my partner, but generally I love to share hugs. So please, like every time I come back from the burn, I get a message from someone that says, hey, I saw you, but I was kind of a little too shy to say hello. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. It would have been cool to have a hug. And if we've met before, please don't assume that I remember in that moment, because it's hard for me until my brain does not retain everything in its front of everyone I've met. So you may have to say, we've met this time, and this is you can walk me back to how we know each other, or you can just say, hey, let's re-meet. Carl asking about thoughts on the BRC Weekly. I just acknowledge that it's the last paper and her last burn, I believe. Good morning, Faith. Faith says, grateful to be here live. Always vicariously enjoy Burning Man through my accounts since the beginning. Love from Key West. Thanks, Faith. Much love to you. All right, you glorious folks. I think it's time. It's 1:30. Let's have a hug and head out into our days. Spread this good vibes. If you're heading to Burning Man, enjoy this journey. It has begun as you pack and as you prepare, and your journey there. Be in the mindset already. Start practicing being that outgoing, compliment giving, surrendering to the moment, let going of attachments and expectations person right now. And wherever you are, good morning, Jessica. Wherever you are, let's have a hug. So give yourself a big squeeze, thinking about all these people around the world, literally, that have tuned in today. These little moments of gratitude and appreciation, having our collective building of energy and excitement about the burn, whether we're going or not, about this supportive collective community of expression. We can be a part of that whether we go to Black Rock City or not. So let's appreciate our functioning bodies and this functioning community and all the creativity, our abilities to be supporters of one another and to be supported, knowing that we're so much more alike than we are different. The world would rather hug you than hurt you. Let's take a deep breath in and squeeze one another. Feel me squeezing you. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you beautiful love ambassadors, thanks for joining us for this Love Morning, this Hug Nation gathering of gratitude. The burn, I will be at 9 and E at Pink Heart. My big event is Thursday at noon. Thursday at noon, I will give a talk and the pink ride. So show up wearing some pink, bring your bike, give a talk, and then we go on this pink parade that is the highlight of my year. Ice cream is at Pink Heart on Wednesday afternoon. Good morning, Victoria. Love you all. Have a beautiful day.